You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Dancing with the Stars After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Dancing with the Stars After Show.
All right, welcome back to Dancing with the Stars here at AFTERBUZZ TV. I'm Kristyn Burtt. It's week 7 on Dancing with the Stars, and we have got a guest here that I think was probably the most requested female pro ever. For the last 4 seasons, I've been driving her bananas, and we finally made the schedule work, and she is sitting right here to my left, Chelsie Hightower.
Yes.
Hello. Hello. Welcome.
Thank you for the intro.
And thank you for finally being able to work it out. I know you're so busy, you're traveling all the time.
No, I'm so happy that I was able to do it.
Oh,
so I'm happy to be here, happy to be doing this. We're going to have a good time.
All right, well, we love you and the fans love you, so this is going to be awesome. Suri Serano is also here.
Yes, I am. Hello, people. Thanks for tuning in. And may I just say, I was just saying off the air that Chelsea's hair is looking pretty darn fantabulous.
We were just saying, I got it done today. So I actually cut my hair.
It's gorgeous.
Which I wasn't going to do, but I got in there and I was like, you know what? I'm going to chop off about 4 inches.
And it looks good.
So I did.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks.
We're glad you did it.
Thank you,
Now,
guys.
we want to remind everyone that Julz Tocker and Anna Trebunskaya are also on the show. They are on their way, and Anna's here, so she's going to sneak in.
Hey.
Hi. All right. They've got your spot right there waiting for you on the couch.
Baby
Your tea
mama.
and everything. So come on over and we'll say hi to you. And Julz will be sneaking in 10 minutes.
I'm sure.
That's what he said.
10 minutes
from now.
2 minutes.
Right.
Have you shown everybody your amazing body?
I guess I'm showing everybody now.
This woman just had a baby. How long? 2 months ago? 3 months
She
ago.
looks
Look at
amazing.
this.
Yeah.
All right, before we get started on all the dances, I just want to remind everyone that if you guys know, AFTERBUZZ is owned by Kevin and Maria Menounos, of course. They've got an amazing show called Chasing Maria Menounos on Oxygen. It's on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m., so it's on tonight. Be sure to check that out. In fact, Suri and I, we were on a couple weeks ago.
We were.
A little clip from our season 16 show. So we'd love it if you guys support them, support their show, because they've done an incredible job here at AFTERBUZZ. And if you can't watch it on Oxygen, you can get it on iTunes, Amazon, or on demand. With that, Steve's on all 4s. Hopefully we'll see Anna in just a minute. All the things you can't see on live TV, but we will say hi to Anna in just a moment.
Hey.
But let's get started talking about Latin Week with Ricky Martin. I thought this was kind of fun. After last week, we didn't love last week's party anthem.
Oh.
Okay.
We're not alone.
No.
We had Henry in studio last week, and he was like, how could you not think it was great? And I just said, you know, it was kind of a lull of a week.
You know what? I didn't like, what's his name? Red Foo?
Red Foo, we didn't like him
We
either.
didn't like him either.
What was that?
Clearly, we need Chelsea here every week. Yeah.
I mean, Ricky Martin, it's like, okay, you can forgive whatever he doesn't know in dancing because he's so good looking, right?
Yeah.
The man doesn't age, by the way.
But I know.
Doesn't age.
It's
great.
ridiculous. And he's so sweet, and he had such an endearing, fresh, not endearing, but a fresh feeling up on the panel.
Yeah,
which I thought was
he
great.
felt like the Latin Celine Dion, who's always nice and gracious about
Oh my
everything.
gosh. He was
Definitely.
I was so impressed.
He was
so
sweet,
cute.
positive, very cute,
Yeah.
fun.
Very sexy.
Yes.
Easy to look at.
Yep.
Which always helps.
And another opening by Mandy Moore, of course, which I thought was really fun. I thought it was a great opening, good pairing. It was one of those, again, that we had kind of felt like the very first week we was like, that would have been a good opening instead of, you know, the other one that we had with Jason Derulo. Anna, welcome.
Hi.
Hi, what did you think of the opening and Latin Week with Ricky Martin?
Can you actually hear me? Cause
I can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is so far. I'm so used to something being, you know,
Yeah. The big microphone.
the big B. No, I loved it. I really liked Ricky Martin as a judge. I thought he was very sweet and very gracious, but to the point too. And he said, you know, I want to be entertained and I'm not very technical. Although he got a little technical, he kind of was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting all technical."
He's very proud.
Yeah. So, and I do feel like him for a Latin night is very, very appropriate. And yeah, no, I liked it. I agree with y'all.
Yeah, it brought it up a notch because I felt like last week we were like kind of
Well,
like
it was
plateaued.
also
I
very.
can't really remember. I did a blog on this, and I can't even remember what were the dances last week.
You
Sorry,
mean
a lot
the
has
Red
happened.
Foo one?
Yeah. What were the dances?
They were all party anthems.
They were all party like uns kind of music, you know.
Oh, what was that?
Old music too.
party rocking in the
uns.
house.
Like
Party
that.
boy. Party boy music.
Go, Kristyn.
Yeah.
Or like
Right,
what was Sharna? Dun, dun, dun,
We Go
dun,
Together
dun,
was-
dun, 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 dun.
Everybody dance
Oh,
now.
yeah.
The worst music. I'm sorry.
It was, yeah, it was
A lot of people didn't like music last night. I actually really liked music last night.
Yeah, that was a big point that a lot of people said. It just was, they felt like if it was Ricky Martin week, it should have been more Ricky Martin songs, and then also not enough Latin type of songs.
I was just gonna say for a Latin night, I was a little surprised with the music selection because I would have expected more traditional, authentic Latin music. Instead, we got like "Sail" by AWOL Nation, which is like the farthest away from.
We got Latin
you
light.
could possibly get.
Latin light.
light, yeah, exactly.
I thought there was a lot of Latin music. It was just all like reggaeton type of Latin music, you know.
It was
like
I feel
very
like it wasn't
hip Latin,
I feel like it wasn't much different music than you would see any other week.
except in Spanish.
But we didn't. Was there any?
There was a lot of Spanish.
Gasolina. That was about
That
it.
one,
Where was that
Gasolina, and then the Max and Val had like their salsas was more like really a
I
cumbia.
like some of the
There's
songs.
some hip hop.
They
Yeah,
were
and a lot
more
of
like-
fusion. A lot of fusion music.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started by talking
Let's do
about
it.
the first dance. Amy and Derek doing the rumba. And rumba. Well, you know, and we start right off with her relationship issues, and I just was like, oh, this is sad. And then he's in the audience, and they kept flashing back
I
to
know,
him.
they did.
And then my boyfriend was watching with me last night, and he's like, oh, he probably feels bad. Like,
I bet he
after
does.
all
Where
that.
they're all listening
And
to
then
the
they're like,
package.
flash. But obviously, I thought it was a really gorgeous and sexy rumba.
It was such a pretty rumba. I was actually really surprised that Amy got into that, to be honest with you, because she is so strong and she's such a fighter and she goes through so much anyways. I was really kind of surprised that she had brought that up.
It was very personal.
It was very, very personal. I mean, it was, you know, it was cool. I'm sure many people can relate. That's a very it's a tough thing, and we all, you know, everybody's been through stuff like that. So it's good to hear, but it was just surprising.
It was. Sorry, what do you think of the rumba?
I'm sorry, I'm distracted by the microphone, guys.
I know.
Sorry, is anyone else?
Sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, no, it was absolutely beautiful, stunning. You know, about her being injured, the body locking up. I know what that feels like, and I can only imagine, you know, what kind of pain she's in. And I know it's her rib now, right?
Yeah, her rib has popped out.
Ouch.
Not painful.
No,
That sounds horrible.
was that?
Yeah, it was announced
Amy
today.
Yeah,
too?
today.
Amy, she had an injury after, and
Yes,
she
that's
didn't. She thinks, you know, it's been bothering her, but she said it was her shoulder. But when she went upstairs, when she was climbing up the stairs, like she moved her head a weird way, and something
back cracked.
everything
Wow.
cracked and popped. So
Well, yeah, I mean, I would assume that her body has to compensate so much for, you know, not having feet and ankles.
but that was beautiful.
What she did in rumba was phenomenal. And I'm not just talking about rumba. I'm talking about generally, just in life. You know,
Yeah.
she has to constantly, her body has to be clever and figure out ways to, like she said, you know, in the jive, she, you know, all the kicking action was her hip flexors and thighs, and not like so much feet and knee action, which is actually what we are taught to do. And in the rumba, it was really surreal for me to see it because I'm such a purist when it comes to rumba and beautiful foot action that, you know, but with this girl, like, you can't give her comments on foot action because it's like, hello. But everything else, though, if you just take that and don't worry about the foot action or foot technique, everything else was really spot on. I mean, her lines, her musicality, her emotion. It was a proper rumba. That's what Len said.
I think the dynamics of the rumba also were amazing. You saw a lot of sharp moments and you saw a lot of smoothness. But what I found while I was watching it is I didn't even pay attention. I forgot that she has 2 prosthetic legs.
Yes,
because she dances so well.
Yeah.
I think the
And-
last few weeks I've forgotten. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm over
Totally
it.
forgot.
Yeah.
Except for the end. By the way, I love the leg hold at the end. That was beautiful.
It was very beautiful.
Yeah.
Is this, by the way, is this loud enough? Because I feel like
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
feel
You can
like-
bring it in.
I'm pretty
by the way-
soft-spoken, I feel like.
By the way, Hightower, the glasses. What's going on with the glasses?
Oh, I just suddenly got really bad eyes
no,
and had to get glasses.
no.
We love the glasses.
I think it's super cute.
Yeah.
Well, let's go into the judging.
They're
Because there's one
fake.
thing I want to say about Carrie Ann and Abba. She calls them out on lifts one week and then doesn't call them out on lifts
Right?
the next week. What are we
Story
doing?
of my life, being on Dancing with the Stars. I'm not kidding you. I feel like I got called out so many times. And maybe because there was 2 like really prominent times that I was just like, that was so clearly not a lift that it was so frustrating.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating.
But she's doing it to the
watch.
same couple
annoying.
too. It's really
It's
annoying because I'm
annoying.
like, make
But
up
don't
your
you
minds.
think? Don't you think she maybe listened to our comments? Remember how we were kind of on her a little bit, like, no, don't patronize her. If you feel like you need to judge her as everybody else, judge her like everybody else. You're like, oh, you contender, but then I'm gonna patronize you. I'm actually glad that she was like, I'm gonna call you out on this lift. Good, call her out on the lift like everybody else, because the fact is, she's good. It's like you don't have to give her a little pet on the shoulder.
Yeah, she's proven herself. I think we've all kind of moved on from that. And sneaking in the studio, Julz Tocker. Hello.
Hi, Julz Tocker.
Good evening.
Hi, fancy you can join us, Jules.
Hi,
We'd
lovely to be back. I've missed my Tuesday.
We
afternoon
missed you.
I know.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on Amy
I
and
know.
Derek's rumba.
Amy and Derek. I thought this piece was actually, again, Derek was really clever. He used all the bits and pieces that Amy could do. I feel like I'm kind of seeing that every week though. But, I mean, she is restricted with what she can do. And Derek is doing a good job at trying to get those things out that she is capable of doing.
But yeah.
And I liked there's a lot of close hold positions.
Well, I think when it comes down to it, I think the only things that we're really missing are the fan positions in a rumba. I don't think he's taking away that much. I think he has to hold on to her because she can't have as good of balance.
No, of course, but
She
I
doesn't
enjoyed
have
seeing
even
that
heels.
actually for a change.
But it was very
a fan
close
and bits and pieces like
Yeah, but
that.
she
Yeah,
can't-
exactly. What can she do? She can't.
can't
So
do
what
that.
I'm saying is that I appreciated what Derek did, and I liked seeing a closed hold, more basic. She did great cucaracha actions. Her hips were moving
Amazing
around. I was like,
reaction.
babe, that's really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually enjoyed this piece.
I love that. Babe, this is really, really good, Amy.
Babe, Amy.
So we will
Amy.
it's really good, babe. Yeah.
we will send good wishes for good health on her because we've
Yeah.
got lots of rib things going on in this cast.
gosh.
36.
Season injury time.
Yeah, it is that time of the year. Okay, we move on to James and Peter doing the samba. We got a lot of comments on this
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Because we got to talk about Victoria's Secret wardrobe.
Fredericks of Hollywood.
Frederick's of Hollywood. That is actually more.
Can I
Frederick's of Hollywood.
start?
Go ahead, Anna.
So, like, if I look at this number as of, like, oh my God, right? And that was absolutely a 10. If I look at this number like the chiseled chest and abs pair, I give them a 20 from, I'm giving them like 60, not even 40. But if you act, like, I almost feel like, hello Peter in this outfit, but it was almost like overshadowing him. And then what it made me do, I'm like, well, why is she doing this? And then I immediately started looking at him. And when I was actually looking at him, that samba wasn't good.
Well, I believe that it was Len that called him out on his footwork. What did we think of the footwork?
There was
Chelsea?
no footwork.
Well,
No
I
footwork?
think throughout the whole season, I think we haven't really seen. Sorry, James, if this gets back to you, but I don't think we've really seen real dancing from James the whole season. I think Pete has been good with putting together a good package for the two of them and
Entertainment,
making
yeah.
it look entertaining for the TV show, and in which it's gone over really well. And like I said in my blog, I think at the end of the night, Pete and James are two of the couples that, or what am I saying? One of the couples that you remember at the end of the night. And so they've done a really good job with putting together great entertainment. When it comes to actual dancing, James, let's be honest, he hasn't been actually dancing this whole season.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go.
But and I'm not like, they've been doing a great job.
No,
and that's
And
just,
and
it's
this is
just
coming
to
from a
show
girl
that-
that's not even Russian.
There you go.
There we go. Sweet American girl next door, Chelsea said it.
That's hilarious.
There we go.
I really did enjoy the number as a performance piece, for sure. If we look at Len's score, he gave them an 8.
Yeah.
And we know Len to be the tough one. And he also gave Charlie an 8.
Yeah.
And I've watched both performances and just the guy without watching
And
the partner.
Nini at 8.
And I'm sorry, but that doesn't add up.
No.
That's just exactly what you're, you know what I mean, saying. James doesn't hold up to a Charlie.
No. Well, the other thing I felt like going back to just the feeling of it, the first thought that kind of popped out in the beginning of this routine for me is like, am I watching an Argentinian version of Dancing with the Stars?
Those of you who know,
Those of you who've seen it, or if you
what
don't,
Argentine puts on their
risque.
floor.
And I'm all for that. I actually enjoyed
You know
that.
what?
This isn't
But,
the first time she's been in nothing.
But excuse me, opening numbers, guys. The girls are in a bikini basically, and she actually had things on her legs, and was more covered up. The problem was that it was red and it looked more like lingerie.
it was
Maybe.
lingerie.
So yeah, well,
It was fully lingerie.
well, exactly. But
They
the
couldn't
thing
put a
is
mic
that
pack on
actually
her.
she was more clothed than other numbers that she's been in.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with the outfit.
But a lot they audience did.
Well, she was actually more covered up with actual clothing. To be honest.
I think it's also what it suggests to.
It
which-
suggests.
Yeah.
Of course, they wanted
know.
sex on legs, and that's what they got.
They totally
Yeah.
did.
That's
Yeah.
exactly the package, and we're talking about it, and it's been in media today.
Just to
and
make it clear,
this is what
like
they wanted, you know.
watching it from a different perspective now, I would not want my daughter to be watching this.
And
Well,
that's,
no, Candace took her kids out of the studio.
I would not want my kids
Yeah.
to be. Actually, I would not want my kids to be watching half of the show last night.
well, and there you go. And that's what I heard from a lot of the people on Twitter, just saying I was
Yeah,
offended by
people were
the-
saying I changed the channel.
Yeah, they were
As much
offended
as
by the
as
outfit.
much as I love all the dancers and I love their physique and I'm a fan of that, and it's like I have a different perspective of
It's
it
like
now.
where does the line draw?
Yeah,
Is
where
this
is
a
the
family
line?
TV show or what? What is
And
this?
it's on at 8 o'clock. It's not on at 10
This
Yeah.
is a
Yeah,
so we gotta
network
remember.
prime TV
Yeah.
There's
show.
been,
Yeah.
but wait, just for sake of argument, I mean, I feel like there's been lots of outfits over the seasons that have been that skimpy.
And sorry, Tony has a shirt off every week.
But
Yeah.
I think
last
it goes
4 weeks.
back
They're
to
tweeting
again,
about it. They're even tweeting
I
about if
think-
Tony's going to wear a shirt or not. Where is it going? Where's the show
I know.
going?
I think you're right. Whereas, yes, we've had many skimpy outfits over the years, but I think it also goes back to again what it suggests. I mean, she looked like she was wearing straight lingerie, like
It
she
was
had gone to
garters.
Frederick's and
Yeah.
picked out something from the lingerie
It was a
section.
bra.
So-
There was no place for a mic
Put a
pack.
few rhinestones on.
and it wasn't just that, but there was a few moves. I mean, he full
Oh my
on
gosh.
grabbed her booty.
Yeah. In fact, I
So-
renamed the show last night. I think it should be called Grinding with the Stars.
There's our hashtag for the week.
Hashtag Grinding with the Stars. Hashtag last night.
It is no longer DWTS.
We'll have a
it's
much
GWTS.
different viewership. Yeah, exactly.
And I loved Tom's quote at the end. Because that doesn't happen when I go to the gas station.
Yes.
You know?
I know, right?
They got a 35. Len was the one that gave him an
Not
8.
in Massachusetts.
Yep.
In saying that,
In December.
Unfortunately
he
for
smashed
Tom.
out some syllabus stuff, promenade run, stationary sambas.
There
locks.
was one section
He-
I saw in Whisks where they actually did a samba
Samba.
bounce.
He did try in a couple of places.
They tried a
and
samba roll.
also,
They tried.
yeah, and some
Tried.
rolls. So
Somebody-
there was steps in there that they did try and do, and I have to say that compared to some other couples, there was more content than I'd seen from other couples in previous weeks.
Name
Well,
those,
I
name
think-
those couples. Who are those?
Name the couple.
We all know who those couples
But
are.
listen, but I feel like with them, it's almost like what I've seen from James in his contemporary, what I've seen in his quick step and in his jive and even in his salsa. I feel like he's capable of doing real dancing.
Yeah.
And I feel this was kind of a slapstick, sexy, bootylicious number that was kind of ish samba.
Well, we've also been sold so much on their chemistry and are they dating
Oh
or
no,
aren't they dating?
amazing.
And so at
that's
this point,
amazing. It makes
maybe-
me want to go, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
But at
are,
the
right?
same- I would think so. I mean, but at the same point, you're like, let's move on. We get it. You guys like each other. You've got chemistry.
Can you actually dance now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to Danica and Val doing the salsa. Another
Oh.
one with the broken rib, and I felt like she felt every movement on this dance. I mean, it was written all over the poor girl's face. She tried so hard. She was a trooper, but ouch.
So I saw on Val's Twitter, he mentions last night they missed 3 days of rehearsal. Yeah. One broken rib. I mean, all things considered, she did a freaking phenomenal
Thumbs up
job.
to that.
I mean, missing 1 day of rehearsal can put you so far behind. Yeah. Missing 3 days of rehearsal is like a death sentence.
You only have 5 days.
So,
right.
We're 2
and
days.
they traveled to Washington, D.C. because she had an appearance there. So that's another day that was a wash.
Oh, missing 3 days of rehearsal plus a broken. I mean, I know people who have had, I've never had a broken rib, but I know people who have had broken ribs and they say it's just incredibly painful.
Because you can't breathe.
So,
I had broken ribs from rugby. You can't breathe, but I danced a dance competition, so boom.
Well, you're also a professional dancer.
That's right.
I was 14.
And you know what? And then you know what, Julz? You probably enjoyed the pain too.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Here's a big question I want to throw.
Hurts so good. Hurts so good.
All right, guys. Here's a question I want to throw out to you guys: is the group dance? We had a lot of the troupe dancing this week.
God, the troopers are busy, aren't they?
I know.
So busy.
We got to put them in there. Come
Is
on.
everything supersized?
Yes.
Are we doing that now? Or is it should be allowed?
It's
is it distracting?
You know, that's a good point. I was thinking about that last night. I mean, hello, like how much does that add to a routine? I think it's good and both bad. I think for certain couples, I think it's really enhanced their dances, and I think like Len said, actually, I really agreed with Len last night with Meryl. I think she's a good enough dancer. She doesn't need anything extra. And comparing her straight to the other dancers, I'm sorry, Carrie Ann, I don't agree. Carrie Ann said that she matched up. To be honest, she didn't. She didn't quite match up.
Well, I thought she actually
and so I think
did a little bit.
Okay,
that
let's
looked like
talk about that later.
We're Danica.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Danica.
Danica. I feel like Danica. I feel like this could have been such an amazing number because the energy of it, the outfits. I mean, it was a little, revealing as well. But it was like fun. It was kind of kids, and I liked the flavor of it. It was straight like from what's that, the MTV, but the Latin MTV channel. You know what I'm talking about?
Fuse. I don't know. No.
Anyway,
it
was a Latin music video, like I feel like I could have seen that in the music video, and I so wish we could have seen the lifts that they were working on. And
I think the concept, everything was there, and there was just not enough time. It was a real shame because exactly.
And
outfits,
she looked
the whole
stressed
thing
out, and like
ready.
she was thinking about
all the time.
that all the time.
And one thing, sorry.
Go. What?
One thing that I've loved from Danica this whole season is that she's brought this amazing smile and charm to the floor.
Yeah.
And she has dynamics, and I think that's a testament to Val and what he's done with her. But she's had dynamics where it's not a plastered on smile, but she goes in and out, which is what you want to see. You want to see the slows and the quicks, and you want to see the different emotions and not just one plastered emotion. That's one thing that we missed last night, and I think due to their week, it makes sense. But that's one thing that I would have to say that I've been so impressed by her, just this charm that she's brought to the floor every week, and it's something you can't teach.
Yeah, I completely agree with you 100%. And
that's good.
All things considered, thanks, Julz.
No,
all things considered, I agree with all of you. And she looked amazing.
Yeah.
The energy of the whole number, her hair, she looked like she felt great, even though she was in pain. And I'm very impressed by her. I loved the number.
Yeah.
And I know that they had lifts and things like that were planned, and it would have been probably one of our favorite numbers, dare I say. But yeah. Way to go for her, especially being in pain.
Dancing through that is kind of amazing.
Last thing, I'm sorry I'm so chatty right now, but last thing,
Chatty Cathy, what's going on? We got things to talk about.
I love that she didn't want to come out and be like, and make a big deal about her injury. Like, she went into the bathroom, she wasn't you could just tell, she wasn't trying to make a big deal about it. And it's a pretty serious thing. Yeah. So I major credence to her for that, because there's been other contestants on the show that have taken the smallest thing and been like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever, please vote for me and give me this.
I have a hangnail.
Yeah.
No, Maria Menounos danced with a broken rib when she was on Dancing.
I thought you were about to say with a broken nail.
But remember, her toes kept breaking. I mean, she was just, she held on.
She's a fighter. And I have so much respect for that, for people who aren't trying to overdo their injury and they just want to move on and want to do their best and stick their...
Well, let's move on.
All right. Well, they got a 33. The 9 was from Ricky Martin. Everyone else gave an 8, and I think that was about right. I mean, for Danica this week,
Yeah,
we know
it
what she's
definitely
capable
wasn't
of.
her best. Yeah.
But it wasn't bad though. That's
No.
what we
No,
just want to
that's
say
true.
that.
It wasn't terrible.
Wasn't bad. No, really wasn't.
Considering it probably should have been terrible. Considering it should have been terrible.
It should have been a hot mess.
They didn't
honestly.
have 3 days. She had a broken rib. I mean,
She did awesome.
so
Yeah.
it was great.
Nini and Tony doing the Argentine tango, and I've got to say, I went back and watched this because I couldn't remember it.
You did.
I went back because I was like,
I did too.
What happened with this dance? I
was,
blanked.
it
It wasn't memorable.
Very showpiecey.
Showpiece. I really like the beginning and the
Yes.
concept. The concept
Yes.
was great.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then once it actually went into dancing, it kind of went downhill.
But then for her, I felt like she was more committed when she was dancing and when they were doing the pieces. I felt like she was staying in character and she was doing everything a little bit more with intention. Whereas a couple of the other weeks, it was kind of a little bit like it wasn't clear enough for me. And the little bits that I saw, I thought actually for her, I thought maybe it was a better dance for her this week when she was dancing. Is how I felt.
And I think I mean, I wish I had timed it because I felt like a good 30 seconds went by before dancing ever
Yes.
began.
Oh,
Yes,
like
yes.
45.
That
yeah.
frustrates me because I'm like, I know you're just distracting with all this stuff, and it's a group dance, and there's everyone else going on, and then she's walking down the stairs, and then they're like, let's do a little tango. I'm like, okay.
So the bits that she did well.
Yes.
Is what I'm trying to say.
All right, well,
bits.
good.
Yeah.
What do you think, Suri?
Exactly what you just said and what Anna said. I love the beginning and the concept. That had my attention. He did kill time from, before they started the actual dance, which, he did.
Was it
what
needed?
he-
Was that needed? Do we think?
I don't think so. I think Nini could have done a little bit more dancing at this point, don't you think? I mean, we're in week
Well, yeah,
7.
I
You
agree.
never know, though. You never know with the group dance adding on, and that was a lot. That was a really long group dance. It was like the music went on and on and on.
On and on and on and on and
It
on.
just it felt like a 4-minute group. I mean, I don't know. I didn't time it, but it was like a lot of stuff.
I feel like Tony would have given her more if she could have handled it
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah. And maybe it was overload. And plus, we also have Meryl and Charlie leaving. You had Danica leaving. Like, people are in and out of rehearsals for the group dances, too. So that also creates...
Yeah, I know
more-
for a fact they weren't all together. Exactly, they were not all together for that group rehearsals.
Yeah. Other than that midnight that they went to last Monday. I think that they rehearsed
exactly.
in studio and then that was it.
That was it, yeah.
So that's a lot. That's a lot to deal
Wow.
with. They were the couple that left last night. I think most of us in studio had predicted it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. And I don't think it's any big surprise. Anyone?
They were surprised.
Were they?
Yes.
Yes, they did not expect to go.
Really?
She had a really good attitude about it.
They're like, huh?
Really?
You guys are awesome.
It's like one of those. Aw, bless you.
Poor little thing.
Bless
They
little
didn't.
cotton
They
socks.
felt like they had the audience behind them and momentum and everything. But I love Nini's attitude. I will give
I
her
did
that.
enjoy
I definitely
that,
think
yeah.
no matter what, they will be there. They were a very memorable couple of the season. There's some couples that leave second week that you still remember out of the season because they were just very memorable. So I think, regardless, they were very memorable.
And that was what, week 6?
7.
Seven.
This is week 7.
Seven?
They made it far. I mean,
Week
that's
7.
pretty good.
Indeed.
Hey, thank you for that.
That was a
Jules.
showstopper. But
That's
and
funny.
the other thing, and I think that's interesting that they didn't expect themselves to leave, is that they underestimated Candace's fan base.
Ba-da-ba-bum.
Because they definitely, her Facebook, everyone on Facebook was like rooting for Candace because they felt bad for her and they feel like she's been underscored quite a bit. So I know that her fan base had rallied and we had talked a little bit about that last week. So
Yeah.
Candace is very likable
Yeah.
and endearing.
Yeah.
and
And
Henry
very-
talked about that.
Very normal too.
Yeah.
You just get this sense that she's just such a normal woman.
No, she really is.
So
She's
and
lovely.
Nini's
People like that.
a character,
Yeah.
but Candace is relatable, and ultimately
She's very real.
people root for the relatable.
And I
side.
think that's what comes across as well on the packages and when she's talking and
Yeah,
what you
it's
see.
super real.
You see someone straight away. You're not got
Yeah, you don't have
you're
to
not seeing
wonder.
someone- yeah, you know exactly who you're getting, and I think that comes across nicely.
Yeah, it's not a character. It's not an
No.
actor or anything else like that. All right, their score was a total of 31. They went home. And,
Yeah.
Ciao.
Yep.
Moving along.
Before we move on, of course, it is that time of the show. Favorite time ever. Favorite time ever. iTunes. We want to thank everyone that has been downloading. Our show last week on iTunes was number 7. I think
Whoa!
that's pretty good. 7 here for AfterBuzz. So keep
That's
downloading
great.
it. We appreciate your
Please.
support.
Download us.
And of course, don't forget
Now.
to rate us 5 stars.
5.
Chelsea, you got to give us a 5.
5.
5
1,
stars.
2, 3, 4. 5. 5.
You know what?
forget
I'm
Anna
gonna
over there on
go
the
do
couch.
it. I'm gonna go do it right now. People, pull out your phones.
Pull out
do
your
it
phones,
as we're speaking.
Rate 5 stars. And of course, you can always watch us on YouTube. Usually it uploads a little bit later on in the evening. With that, we're going to move on to dances 5 through 7, which is the latter half.
Wait, can you tell me how to do this? So I go to iTunes Store.
Or you can go to podcasts. We're also on the
is good.
podcast
Probably
app.
people wanna
All right,
know
do
this.
We're
this.
also on podcast or
Where-
iTunes Store.
Okay, so where's podcast?
You have to download it. We can do this after
Oh,
the
I have
show.
to download this?
Chelsea, we got things to do. You can sort out your apps later.
Wait, do I go to iTunes Store and then download podcast?
Podcast, you can download it and then rate it right from there.
But from the iTunes Store, or from the app.
iTunes Store on your laptop or the podcast.
After Chelsea.
This is great because some people probably don't know how to do
Actually,
it.
Or the
yeah.
podcast app that you can find in your app store.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Apple Help.
Thank you.
But it's also
Kristyn,
available on
Apple Help.
Droid, so if you have
Oh,
Android.
Android. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much.
All right, Sharna and
Julz.
Charlie doing the Paso Doble. We finally get a Paso this season.
Paso.
Oi.
Where have they been doing? Where have they been hiding the Paso this
Oi.
season? Seriously.
Was that the first one?
Saving it for the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was the
probably
first one,
fast.
right?
Not gone along with the themes? I don't know.
Maybe.
know.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
All right, now this is another big topic that has been sort of been thrown out there quite a bit. Charlie and the scores, and are the judges too hard on Charlie? And even Sharna last night tweeted out WTF after everything
I saw that.
happened.
Well, Len gave him an 8.
Yeah.
Um,
And he gave Nini an 8 right before.
Right.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
goes back to Kristyn and I have been together for 4 seasons now, and we've had this conversation every single season. He's being judged on Charlie alone being incredible. I mean, if he trained, he probably could be a professional.
Of course.
But the problem is, at the end of the day, it's not about individually getting the best mark. You're beating somebody else. You're putting 2 people on the floor or 10 contestants, whatever it is, and it's the score between each other. It's not an individual comparison.
Okay, but let's be honest. Okay, how are they supposed
Let's
to
be
judge?
honest.
How are they supposed to judge this competition? Because
Well,
in
exactly.
no competition in the world will you ever see somebody on Nini's level competing against somebody on Charlie's level.
Yes,
so
they
how,
would.
Right.
How do you do that? You know, at the end of the
Exactly.
day, it's like, do they judge on Charlie's ability alone?
Yeah.
Do they judge on Nini's ability alone? Do they judge? You know, are they comparing Charlie to Charlie? You know, at the end of the day, how
how
are
is
you
it fair?
supposed to judge it? Unless you have point marks and you're differentiating people by the 7.2, 7.3,
We'll be there all
7.4.
I feel
freaking
like
week.
I need a cake.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, how are you at the end of the day? How
It's difficult
It's
to
such a
judge a
deep-
show
it's
like
a-
this. It is, because you have talent from all
What do I do to
from the
make
spectrum.
you judge
me.
Oh my God.
and I think,
to get a score.
What do I
they're-
do to get a 10?
I
That's
think
Charlie's
they,
song.
Charlie, can you sing that next week?
Please.
But here's the thing. I want to say it's starting to get to him psychologically, and you can see
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And he and Sharna look a little defeated, and I almost feel like you could see it in the package, and then he went out on the floor, and he was almost a little too wild in the paso. Like he was
Yeah.
throwing some things, but he wanted to give his all, and so it went from, instead of being a little bit more controlled, it went to a little bit like thrown out there. Because he
Yes.
doesn't know.
But
doesn't
how bad
understand.
was it? I mean, come on.
It wasn't
bad.
bad.
No, exactly. Was it an 8? I don't believe so. I'm
No.
sorry, even for him. I
You
believe.
compare to the everything else the rest of the night?
I don't think it was a 10
Correct.
though either. I mean, I think it was a 9.
Okay, maybe not a 10. No, I would say 9 all round. I mean, for me, definitely.
Okay, Chelsea, what do you
Chelsea.
think? She's
Chelsea's going, no, look, this is why we're all here. Different opinions. That's what makes the show good.
I think they're waiting for Charlie to come out and look flawless. You know, I think
Yeah.
because he is so great, I think he needs to come out and have a virtually flawless week. And I think in order to do that, I think, to be honest, the choreography has been so great. Sharna's done such a great job, but I think she should simplify maybe. Maybe she can simplify and just simply. Okay, but you look at what Meryl's done, and you look at what Charlie's done. Charlie's had this great pieces, but it hasn't necessarily, he hasn't stood out solo.
Singularly. Any of those.
Singularly, personally, I don't know if he's stood out as Charlie alone and really owned what he's done.
I see what you're saying.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And really stood in his own and been very, very, well, I don't know. He had a great jazz. What was that?
Jazz,
Had
yes.
a great jazz at Mary
Fantastic
Poppins.
jazz.
And Carrie Ann has said, I want them to surprise me. I'm ready for them to surprise me. And I feel like everyone's...
Well, it's almost like there's just so much pressure on him, and he
Yeah.
puts so much him and Sharna, both of them put so much pressure on themselves. It's like, choreographically, this was an awesome number. Okay? Musically, intention, costumes, it was really good. Like, all the ingredients were there. The only thing that was missing is the fact that he went out there with the mindset, I want to get a perfect score, instead of going out there and just doing his job. Just go there, do what you've practiced, and don't think about the score. The moment you start thinking about the score, it's almost like, forget it. You failed already. You can't keep that in the back of your mind. I mean, it's
These
somebody.
guys aren't professional
Olympian,
ballroom
though.
dancers. I know they're ice skater
But
professionals, but
it's the same. You
But that
prepare
line-
what you have,
of course.
and then you put it out on ice and put it out on the floor, and that's your one shot. And that's what, it's a luck of the draw. Or
And he should understand that being an Olympian.
absolutely. I feel like he is comparing himself to Meryl,
I agree.
which
Well,
is
you would naturally, of course.
naturally. I mean, she's his partner and his friend, and
But he needs to work out the line of where he's pushing it maybe too extreme and it's getting too forceful and too wild, where it's a very, very fine line compared.
Yes.
Where before, if you pull it back and you just sit in yourself a little bit more and go with it like you've done in the studio. When you
Right.
practice in the studio, for guys at home, when you practice in the studio, when you get on that floor in the actual studio, it can be two different feelings completely.
Right,
And you're always
rehearsal
trying
space
to
and the
you're always
film
trying to bring that
studio.
rehearsal space into that same feeling, and it's quite hard to do that because there's so many things that can affect you in the band, the people, the judges, la la la.
The lights.
So maybe this was one week where he let everything outside affect him. I mean, maybe one of performance, and he's going to learn a massive lesson maybe for the next week.
I
But that
hope
line
so.
is so small.
Right.
Of that boundary, I feel, and he just maybe needed to learn that.
It's good to be hungry. It's good to be motivated by, I want to get a good score. I want to get a good score. But when you actually get on the dance floor in that moment of truth, you can't have that drive you. That should not be your passion. Your passion should be enjoying what you're doing, entertaining anybody else, everybody else, or connecting to your partner, connecting to the music.
Sure.
But it cannot be like, I just want to get a perfect score.
Well, it's like-
and that's
yeah.
what I feel was his motivation for this particular night. And it's just doesn't work. It's superficial.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I feel like that head part of it, the psychological part, I feel like it's out there on the dance floor. I think that
Yeah.
was the one thing that I noticed.
Can't do
Yeah.
it to yourself. You're shooting yourself in the leg when you do that.
Yeah, so I agree, and I definitely want to see him coming out and just owning a performance.
Just dance.
Completely owning a performance, and just, there's
Just dance.
parts where I see him and he looks brilliant, and then there's other parts where he might wobble or he might get off balance. And, maybe that is just the psychological aspect that's getting to him.
But it's almost like it's okay if you wobble. It's okay if you fall off balance. In fact, some of the best performances that I've witnessed weren't perfect performances. They were actually performances where you're like, oh my gosh, she just fell. But then the way she recovered, or he or they, it's all about pushing it and almost making a mistake, but then not. I feel that's more exciting than having a perfect clinical performance. So.
Jeez,
did that
guys,
with the
this
cane
is
drop.
extremely full on for.
Yeah, let's get like a little
For week
untechnical
7,
now.
I mean, really, he's an ice skater trying to dance. He's doing a great job. He went past the line maybe a little bit.
Well, and I think a lot of fans, he has a ton of support, and a lot of
Oh,
fans
yeah.
do feel like he's not been judged fairly, and they look
Yeah.
at what's happening with Meryl, and there is going to be competition between the two of them, and Charlie Gate.
I agreed with Ricky's comments on them, that he went along with on the ride with them, and I did as well. He is judged harshly, and that it is what it is, and I think he's fantastic. I mean, I watched it back again and just watched him, and I don't disagree with the pros and their technical points of what he could do better, but overall he's awesome.
Well, and I have
Yeah.
felt like weeks. I was like, I will still go back to that jazz routine. I just loved it. I don't care that he dropped the cane, and I felt like he was kind of judged harshly for it. So
Yeah.
there are those moments.
And like I pointed out in my blogs as well, he's doing routines that are not on the same level as a normal celebrity on Dancing with the Stars. These
Absolutely.
routines are routines that you would see on two professionals.
Yep.
Honestly.
Sharn is
Thank
one
you
of the
for
best
saying that.
choreographers on that show, and she's
doing
done a great job with him.
Fantastic job. And they are they are not beginner routines by any means.
Yeah.
And maybe because the judges are used to seeing very simple beginner routines, maybe they're
That's what I mean. This is the last comment about this for me. That's what I mean. That watching just Charlie in that routine, and then you watch a James, just him. I mean, it's night and day.
Of
so
course.
Or you look
they
at a
are
routine
too
where
harsh.
they're
Naturally, it's
walking.
going to be.
Of course.
It is, but then you look at the scores, and that's where this all
Exactly.
comes.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah. Okay, let's not get
Well, and that's-
let's
exactly.
not get that started again.
Yeah.
Moving along.
But I will say that when I watch someone walk for 40 seconds and then they start dancing, that's when I get annoyed.
And they get the same score.
Agree.
Scarlett.
And they get the same score. And I understand there's no standards. There's no like list of like, this is the 6 things you have to have in your dance.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's where
That
we
would
get.
be interesting to have one season.
We've talked about it over and over and over, and I would love that.
You have to do it on an all-star season.
And that won't happen again.
Oh, that won't happen again.
Ratings
Hopefully
were
not.
terrible.
No, that was a snoozer. Okay, Mark.
Sorry.
Suri was the only one that
I
liked it.
loved it.
So you can make your own all-star seasons and have fun
I
there.
like things competitive.
Suri's going to do Dancing with the Stars. You're going to do like a fantasy football series.
That would
Oh,
be
Lord.
hilarious.
All right. Mark and Candace doing their version of the Argentine tango. I thought this was so interesting, that the whole sports psychology thing.
Right.
And I mean, she was really into it and she wants to focus. And, you know, I was like, good for you, Candace. Because, I mean, she really just wants to do well. And you see that. And she's so eager. And I thought she looked great out there this week.
Yeah, you know, this was her best week, I think
so,
for
too.
sure. I think she was sharp. I think she was clean. I think she was crisp. I think the only thing missing for me in this routine was the connection between her and Mark. And I might, you know, Mark, look at your partner sometimes. It helps.
Oh,
Snap.
Haven't we heard that before?
Coming from somebody who's danced with him in many shows, I'm always like, hey, look at me.
Didn't Julianne say that to him last season?
Julianne did it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
That's funny.
No, I
That's
really
two
miss
people
that.
have now said it.
I
So
really
let's
miss that connection. Do you ever feel like that?
With Mark?
Yeah, not to call him out, but kind of.
Did you ever get paired
Anyways.
with him? Is that right?
I
do you
got
ever
paired
dance
with
with
him. I got paired with him a few times. I mean, Mark and I almost the same height, so we didn't get paired very often. Because when I'm in heels, I'm like right at the same height as him, so it's a little funky looking. But I mean, I never that never bothered me. I'm like, okay, you're not looking at me, fine. I'm gonna go do my own thing.
And that number, I thought he was just in the moment the
In
whole
the
entire
zone.
time. Yeah, and really in the character. And she came out, and I reckon she nailed that 200%. She really. I wish she had done that last week. I know she was trying to come out like that last week. Talking to her before the show, she was trying to come out like that last week.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
She
just
did it,
still
though.
nearly there, and she came out and she smashed
She
it.
did
It was
this
a
week.
it was a different take on the Argentine tango, I thought, and
I
it's sort
loved
of
it.
staccato and great leg lines. Her head actions, the flicks, the kicks, all the little bits and pieces and the tricks just worked really well. Mark, you did an awesome job of that choreography with her.
Yes.
You made it perfect for her and what she could do. She danced it like she knew the steps inside out and back to front, and that's what I enjoyed about it. I was fully involved. Costuming, beautiful, looked great. Boom! Moving along.
Yeah. What did you think, Suri?
Agree, 100%. Gorgeous lines. I love that lift, the second to last lift, where it was like a straddle open. I don't know what do you call
Yeah.
it. Is that called something?
It's called a straddle open, I think.
A straddle open special
Chelsea.
2.3.
I love it. I don't know. I loved it.
A
She
straddle
looked beautiful.
2.30.
I thought she looked a little in her head in the first couple 8 counts. Or
Give her a
maybe
break.
that
Give her a
either
break.
that. I'm not giving her a hard time. Either that, or she was trying to do the serious face.
No,
and it was a little
I
too much.
agree. I agree because you saw moments of her, I think, getting a little bit of encouragement from the audience, and she was able to let go a little bit more and a little bit more. And then towards the middle, through the end of the routine, I felt like she was just on point.
Yes. She
Yeah.
was building.
On
She was
point.
definitely building throughout the routine. I'm gonna throw it out there and say, you people can say whatever you want.
Oh, we will.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about you. I know you will. This was my favorite costume of the night for her. Actually my favorite costume of the night. Period.
Wow.
And this was my favorite dance of the night. Period.
Wow.
I think I was probably the most engaged because
I agree, actually. I think.
don't you kind of feel connected to Candace because she just feels so regular girl? And so
Is it because we all know her since I was like 3 years old, like seeing that show? I don't know.
I've
what it
never
is.
seen her show.
But I feel like
I have no idea who she was. I've never seen her show.
But I want her to do well. I just I
Poor
feel
you.
a genuine feeling of wanting her to do well,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
matter what. I don't think she's going to be like the last two standing or anything else like that. But I do feel like I'm like, you love this journey, you love being here, so
Yeah.
I like
wish.
that.
Sorry, I wish there was more. The stories kind of like hers on the show.
Yes.
Where there's a transformation. My mic's
Are you
kinda funny.
right?
Oh my
When
god.
there's like a
You got that?
transformation
Losing Julz.
from the beginning to the end. It's a change. Every week she's coming out and she looks slightly different. She's improving.
Yes.
She's better. She's more confident. We see a story, and that's what I've really enjoyed about her journey so far on the show. And I hope, you know.
I mean, her package, her last night's package, like gave me goosebumps and made me like go, oh my god, crap commercial, like, you know what I mean? I have to go like fast forward through that commercial and see what's going on. And it's like, it really kept me on the edge of my seat. Like, I was like, that was really good reality TV.
Yeah.
This was really good.
I'd love for her to stay in for another week at least.
Forever.
I would like her too, and I love her with Mark actually. And it's so interesting because last season he had a good dancer, Christina Milian, and they were out by week 5 or something. And I wasn't that invested in them as a couple.
She wasn't connecting.
She wasn't connecting at all. And then you have someone that's not as good a dancer, not trained, and you're like, I want you here.
Yeah. Well, and I think somebody who's willing to come out and admit their faults and admit where they struggle, I think you naturally want to get behind them. You know, her coming out and being like, I want to see, you know, even being willing to see a sports psychologist on air.
I know.
And talk about her insecurities. I think that's so cool. And it's a brave thing. And
the fact
makes
that
you want to get behind her.
Yeah, the fact that she said she was never in therapy before, I'm amazed.
Yeah.
I feel like anybody who lived in LA longer than 5 years are in therapy.
That's well said. That's hilarious.
And the funny thing is they were like on the couch like couples counseling, and like it's not her husband. You know?
Oh my gosh, I know.
Mark, like,
so cute.
I've done that. I've done that with
So
my
hilarious.
professional partner.
Me too.
With sports psychologists, right? I've done that.
You took them to sports psychologists?
Yeah.
Not my celebrity partners, my professional partner.
Oh,
Professional,
Oh, wow.
Or they took me actually.
Yeah, I took
I
mine
think I
too.
was the problem actually.
You Russian nightmare.
That might be a whole other AfterBuzz show.
Yeah.
I love it. Sports psychology to the stars. Okay, so their scores were 8,999, so a total of 35, and Carrie Ann gave her an 8, and I kind of was like, really?
Why? I know. It should have been 9 all along. I mean,
just did a lot of like, Carrie Ann this week.
Whatever.
Yeah. What was that
Well,
about?
she did get a lot of booing.
Yeah,
this
she
week,
did.
so.
It was
She
her
did
booing
get
week.
a lot of booing, didn't she?
And it was deserved. Marilyn Max doing the salsa, another group dance. Here we go.
Ooh.
I know. I'm gonna
Who
start
wants to
right.
start?
I'm gonna start with Chelsie because she had a lot to say.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I said before, Meryl is such a good dancer that you really don't need the extra dancers or extra gimmicks or anything to make her, you know, she's quality. And when you have quality on the stage, you don't need to throw in gimmicks.
You don't need quantity.
And exactly, quality, not quantity.
Exactly.
When it came to what I said about her being compared to the other dancers, there were several times where I looked and I felt like, and maybe it was in the very beginning when she was in the back and you saw Jenna in the front and then 2 other girls on the sides, and having that direct comparison, I don't think helped her.
Yeah, makes sense.
Jules disagrees.
No, I'm not saying that. Sorry, but I meant like, no, you can't compare an ice skater to a professional ballroom Latin American dancer. There's no bloody way in hell. But I did think that it could have been like, if that was a 30-second bumper, like it could have been like a pro bumper, because you don't have time to look at everything so much when there's a bumper. It's like flick, flick, spin, spin, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So if your eyes were like just passing by like that, you wouldn't really notice. But yeah, of course, a minute and a half track, you can see what how they're doing technical wise, posture wise. So I think that comment was a little bit extreme. Thank you very much. We don't need any more of that. But generally, she did a cool job, and I enjoyed this number, and I enjoyed the other guys involved as well. Did it need it? Probably not.
Yeah.
Good addition, yes, but different.
It
but
made it fun. It was definitely entertaining. I think Meryl is brilliant. I think what her and Max have done so far has been brilliant.
Great.
I think I've enjoyed every single week of theirs so far. I think last night she probably would have done a little bit better with normal Latin heels, with those tennis shoes. Dancing in them, I know it's tough to be smooth. It's tough to not. It's tough to be smooth in those type of
and
shoes.
with her outfit, I feel like she could have done. I feel those tennis shoes for Danica worked in for the outfit, and for Meryl, I felt it was a little bit more glam and Vogue.
It looks like a Fly Girl from.
It looked like Fly
Living
Girl
Color.
or like in Vogue, right? Like those girls.
90s.
It was very 90s.
I was wondering if this for her was quite extreme for her, this style of dance, and it wasn't
for sure.
quite. She wasn't quite comfortable and settled like we've seen her in that awesome foxtrot waltz stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
That's a good point to bring up too, because you know, like last week with her tango, she absolutely killed the tango.
gorgeous.
The tango was very clear and very
Beautiful.
precise.
Very
You know,
classy.
she's used to clear and precise. With the ice skating, I would imagine it's very disciplined. Salsa is not. Salsa is about rhythm. It's about this freedom in your body
and
and
the
this
knees
feeling.
get down and dirty, baby.
That feeling. And so there is a big difference, and I can see where you mean where
There might have been a couple of times it was like for me, and then Max was like, Max was he was dancing pretty well last night in that number, I thought.
yeah.
Did you think he was really going for it?
I thought the
He
number
was
looked
going
great.
for it for every single week with
Oh
her.
yeah, I know, but last night I just thought he was like really
was.
involved in it. I don't know. I just thought.
I see all of your points. I love this number. I thought it was fiery and
loved it.
fun. I'm not going there with
retired
that.
glebs,
That's like
yeah.
we
Oh yeah, we
retired that.
retired last week. So.
I really enjoyed it. Did they need everybody? I can totally see your point. They don't, but they did have everybody. So I'm going with that right now. The only issue I had was what you guys brought up, which was her shoes. It was not a huge deal. It just looked clunky compared to everything else. I don't know why. I mean, whatever.
Well,
but
it
I didn't even
blurs the
notice
line a
myself.
little
Boy,
bit.
should I throw what I've been feeling, what I've been experiencing?
Oh,
watching
do it,
this?
Anna.
Please do throw
Should
it all
I
out.
should I throw it? Should I be like the negative Davy Downer? Should I do
Go
it?
for it.
Throw it
Should
out,
I be
baby.
the Russian?
Well, you brought it up, so go ahead.
You are every
So,
week. Why change this week?
Yeah, right.
She was sunshine and roses last week. You missed her.
Did I?
Sunshine and roses.
Was I really? That must have.
You gave me a lollipop. It all worked out.
I
What?
did give you a lollipop. It must have snowed in Las Vegas then. So, I feel like this was the week where Max and Val went to lunch at some point.
I was thinking the same, to be honest. I was
And-
thinking the same.
And
hold on, let her speak.
had like a chat. Oh, what do you have, bro? I have salsa. What do you have? Well, I have salsa. What do you think? Well, I think I'm just gonna wear shorts and like a bra and curly hair. Oh, cool. And what do you
Using the
think?
troop.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna use a troop. Oh, cool. Do you know what I mean?
It was
Yeah, they were very
similar.
similar.
I did.
It was
have
like
to say that.
it
I was
was
gonna- I
like
forgot to say
kind
that.
of. I mean,
But also, too,
hold on.
remember-
the girls looked similar with the hair. The outfits were kind of similar, different colors. Meryl's was a little bit more glam, I felt, but it was kind of watching like the same play but in different outfits.
But remember also what Val said in his package. She was like, "Listen, this week we're going up against Meryl." So it was that direct comparison, and
But
you
then
never know.
why would you
Who
then
would be copying who? Is it Max
Exactly.
copying Val
Yeah,
or
but
Val
you have to
copying Max?
understand
know
Max
that.
and Val are brothers. At the end of the day, they always want to help each other.
Maybe it was a continuing storyline that we
Correcto
missed.
facto.
maybe it was Act 1 and Act 2.
Act 1 and Act 2. Is it like,
There could have been some sort
did
of
we
play
miss
in
that
there.
storyline? Do we need to go back and watch and see if this is a
Yeah.
whole play?
Yeah,
Right
maybe.
from us.
Yeah, kind of, right? It was
Dancing
like
with the West Side Story. I don't know.
Here we go.
gosh.
Yeah, they got 39. So the 9 came out of.
But on the
Len.
dancing level, she was
That's
great.
good.
She
There
was
you go.
fantastic.
All right, from there we move on to the team dances, and of course with all the injuries going on,
Ouch.
yeah, we wound up watching the tape version. Although they
What
did
a
it
good
live in
TV.
studio.
What a good TV. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, this is really happening.
Or
you
how
know
about
what I
them
mean?
interviewing Amy? They're like the curtains being held up by like Erin or something while she's interviewing Amy behind like a box and like I don't know. There's like a backpack with like first aid
Like
stuff.
Aaron's
like,
icing her.
and putting on a band-aid. Like I don't know what was going on, but
I know.
it was a little
Sideline
strange.
It was
reporting.
sneaky.
Yeah, so let's talk about, we had Team Vita, which was Charlie, James, Nene, and then Team Loca, which was Candace, Amy, Meryl, and Danica. So let's start off with Team Vita first.
Okay,
Sorry.
I just have to say, first of all, let's be honest. When I don't know if it was Val or somebody said that it was like MJ, Larry Bird, Wilt
Yes.
Chamberlain, and Kobe Bryant against the other team.
Yes, correct.
It was funny. And let's be honest, the
But
other
true.
team didn't stand a chance. People
No.
didn't
Not
didn't
a
stand
chance
a
in
chance.
hell.
Derek's never lost a team group dance. So anyway,
Yes.
but going back
Team
to Vita.
Vita. Yeah, go
I want to
Vita.
say their costumes helped a lot.
Oh
I
my
love the
gosh.
costumes,
I love
and
their
they helped a
costumes.
lot.
They did.
The blue, like it really did for me. I don't know why, because I think I was
pop,
kind
yeah?
of bored. Not bored, but kind of
It felt
Throughout the
long.
whole-
that
it felt really
that,
long.
That felt very long. It's like
Very.
and it goes and it goes and it goes.
And they
which
were
is
racing
not
to
a-
this end of the stage
which
and that
is
end.
not a good sign.
No, and it just kind of, there are parts of it that fell really flat for me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think what they did well, though, I think all things considered, I'm imagining myself being on their team and seeing what they had as opposed to the other team had to work with. I mean, the other team had, you know,
they were stacked.
Better dancers.
They were stacked. They were stacked. Better dancers. I mean, they had a lot going against them, but I think they did a good job. I think they were very clever with the transitions. I think there was a lot of intricacies in the performance that you saw that made it interesting, and the costumes definitely helped.
Yes.
I love the costumes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're going against
well
the other
said
team.
though. I mean, well said though. That what they had to work with is what they had to work with.
It's exactly.
And to be honest, I think it's a heads up having 4 couples on your on your side, because you can do more with 4 couples than you can with 3.
That's why they would have felt longer.
It makes it look more more full, more.
You can fill up the stage more and everything.
Yeah, you can do
that
more
is kind of unfair to have
formations.
4 versus 3 on top of all of that.
I completely
Especially
agree.
those 4.
Oh, those 4, you've got all
those
professional males to start with.
Yes.
So therefore, they have got all full control. If she steps out of time or in the wrong place, bang, smack, she's back in the right place. So you've got full control. Therefore, they ain't gonna go wrong.
Can I throw this out there? Because normally, you guys, the pros are normally there helping to pick the teams, and they let the celebs pick the teams themselves. Do you think it would have wound up a little bit differently?
You know, I think
100%.
there's always like night of team. I think there's always like certain pros who make like certain alliances with the other pros, and you know, certain pros would be like, "All right, bro, you're on my team." I mean, they all do. They all make these alliances.
Brothers and brothers.
Yeah.
And having it in the celebrities' hands makes it completely different. Because
I think it's a good idea. I mean, I got
pros at the end of the day are going to choose who's.
I think they wanted Cheryl. What's her name? Meryl and Charlie against each other.
That's what it was.
100%.
Yes.
So that was definitely going to happen, I think.
But then you have Meryl picking Derek and having Mark and having the brothers. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, if you sit there and go through, you know, sometimes there's alliances and there's
someone
cliques
from the losing team, generally every time this has happened, goes home.
Right. Usually.
Generally.
Yeah, all of Team Vita was in jeopardy. Come on, that was great television.
Amazing. Yeah. I got
television.
Well, I think that celebrities picking is good. I think that's great. I actually got into trouble once by suggesting to my celebrity who to pick, and like we had a fight after that, and he said,
"Who was your celebrity?"
I'm not gonna say who he was.
Was it Evan Lysacek, who was in studio?
I'm not gonna say who he was, but hey,
we'll find out after.
you know, it was kind of because they want to feel like it's like my team, and I want to feel like it's kind of a good moment for them, you know, like they get to choose who it is, because the celebrities hear from the pros and what to do and how to do and when to do all the time, that this is probably like one of their chances where they could really actually step it up and be a little bit more responsible for the end product. And you could see Meryl kind of doing that and being like, well, why don't we do this? And then Mike's was like, wow, look at you, like choreographing a dance. Yeah, he's like, where that came from. So I think that was probably fun for them all to do that.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Team Loca, which they didn't do live, although they did do live, but Derek didn't have Amy. We didn't see it, but we got to see the dress rehearsal. I mean, it was like a full stage production. It was like a Broadway show, I kind of felt like.
I felt like I'd seen it before somewhere. I don't know why. Not that I had, but I just felt like...
It's a familiar theme, I think.
Yeah,
you know?
I just feel like it was just so well done. I just thought, you know, the first thing I thought, geez, have I seen that...
You could have been at Kit Kat Club watching Cabaret.
Yeah,
and
no,
doing
seriously,
dancing.
you know.
It was very well done.
It was wicked.
I think because at the end of the day, you cannot compare the two of the teams.
No.
I mean,
qualities,
it was, you know, they were both great, but I think at the end of the day, Team Loca was going to win. So I think maybe we should judge it on the sexiness factor instead.
Well, sexiness factor than
I
Team
think-
Vita.
Well,
Team Vita for sure.
Team Vita had James with his shirt open.
Sexy.
I found
Sexy.
Loca sexier.
But I mean, at the end of the day, Loca ended all 4 boys without their shirts on.
Did they make Charlie like shave or wax his chest? By the way?
Must
Did you see that?
I mean,
everybody
Nene,
shaved and waxed, Tony, everybody.
Because Charlie had a bunch of hair in the package, and then all of a sudden he is like clean as a whistle.
Wait, can we
They
just
might
take
have.
notice to the fact that Nene ended on Tony straddling him
I
at the end of
was
Team
like-
Vita? That happened.
I know. I was like, she is a tall woman, so that's, and he's got a bad back too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard.
I mean,
But he's got those new new muscles.
He's got the new muscles to
So
strengthen
he's
his back.
okay.
It's not
Wait,
easy.
has he been weightlifting or
Oh
something?
no, he's training twice a day for the last several
shakes.
months, and protein.
Is that why they had his
He's
shirt off
jacked.
last night?
That's why he's allowing himself to have his shirt off and wanting
For the
it
third
as
time.
much as possible off.
Hey, enjoy
awesome.
it while you have it, man. Enjoy
Exactly.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you got it, flaunt it.
Good
Yes.
for Tony.
All
Good
right,
for him.
So we did say goodbye to Nene and Tony this
Yes.
week. Just a
did
couple things that are. I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
Oh, you're good. Just a couple of I'm like anything. Just a couple things about next week. We talked a lot about Abby Lee Miller being the judge next week. We talked about
yeah.
it last week. So go back to last week's episode if you want to know what we thought.
She just gagged her mouth.
I
Guys,
do
very
hope.
odd.
I
Come
do
on,
hope
though.
that. I do hope that they, glamorize her a bit.
Do we support that then?
She does have a dance background, so she thinks she will bring that. I don't think she'll bring as much crazy as she does on her own
I
show.
sure hope not.
I was saying that we were talking about
I
that.
kind of
before,
hope
that
she does, though,
she-
because that's what people expecting from her, right?
People do expect that
To
from
be
her
honest-
that know her or of her.
Yep.
I don't think she's going to be as crazy and mean when she
pretty-
has this big of a platform and opportunity to be in front of like millions of people on
And
live
she's pretty
TV.
normal in person.
Well, that's good.
I'm sure she's pretty normal in
If
person.
she's
but
normal in person, that's good. To be honest, I am so shocked and awed watching her show and seeing the way she treats these young girls. I mean, they're 10 years old.
It's abusive.
And it's so awful. And
We're
the
in ho-
moms,
we're
the
in ho-
moms for letting their daughters go through that on a daily basis. To
How
me,
is it
it's
even
just-
allowed in America? I mean,
It's
how is
so
like
awful.
child
That's true.
services isn't called every single
And
episode?
I get it, like it's TV.
It's TV.
She's playing it up, but at the end of the day, really, are you willing to sacrifice? Just sacrifice
Families
these
are.
kids for
Families
TV?
are, though.
Really?
You know, it's interesting.
just
I
awful.
interviewed Asia Ray, who was on for a little bit of one of the seasons, and she said Abby Lee is very nice off camera and everything, and she wants the best for them and everything else.
It's just an act.
But her mother did pull her from the studio. I mean, and she was cast from Los Angeles. So again, remember, this is reality. They cast a lot of dancers out of LA, ship them to Pittsburgh or Philadelphia
she's
or
in the
wherever,
middle of nowhere.
Pennsylvania, wherever they are. So
Oh, wow.
again, remember, this is
Interesting.
again a reality show in air quotes.
I just feel like we're in Hollywood. How many other amazing people could we have on that panel?
There's so many amazing people that
Yeah.
could be on the panel.
Like really
the
well-respected
choreographers.
choreographers and actors
yeah.
and
We
dancers.
keep hearing
for
your
sure.
names thrown out, Chelsea and Anna.
Wow.
Yeah,
Why
right?
not? I've
Why not?
retweeted a lot. I'm like,
Well,
retweet
thank
that.
you.
If you think about it, Abby Lee, Dance Moms has this huge following. It makes sense
Yeah,
to
of
put her
course.
on as far as
Younger
ratings
audience.
go.
Yep.
But
But I
it's
feel
just-
like
think
it's the same.
stupid.
It's the same audience that's for Dancing with the Stars. I feel like it's the same type of people that watch Dancing with the Stars that would watch Dance Moms.
I don't.
I'd
think
much
so.
rather listen to pros be judges than
Yeah, I think
Or
so
Ricky
too.
Martin.
Yeah, Ricky's okay too.
One other thing I want to throw out next week is the which I loved last year was the side by side challenge. The Len threw out there, so that's coming back.
Oh.
So they're all sort of. I think they start together, the couples, and
I think
they split apart.
today they find out their extra dance.
What
from
is
what I know.
what is side by side challenge?
Side by side challenge. It was like two couples. They each start doing the same dance. Then the pros exit and the celebs dance, and then they all come back together. I believe.
So the
And they did it
celebs
last year, and it was
dance
very
together.
successful.
The
We
did
celebs
that.
dance together.
I think they each do a solo. I think
No.
that's- Are they
This-
going to dance
the
together this
celebs
year?
are going to dance
my
together
ears.
this year.
Wow.
This is what I've just been told.
Okay, well that's good scoop.
Interesting.
Because
Yeah.
last year it worked out great.
Yeah.
So I'm
Interesting.
interested to see it again.
Yeah.
So good things to look
That
forward to
sounds
for
cool.
next week, including Abby Lee Miller. I can't even say her name anymore. Let's do predictions. Who's going home? Who's going home?
AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Everyone has a really grim face because this is the time of year when it's tough to send someone home. So I'm going to start with Julz.
Always start with me.
I started with Suri last week, I think.
Yeah, because I wasn't here. You had to. Only because of the week she had, Danica. Just because of the week she had. Not. I have to go from the last week's show, and that was the weakest performance. And I know she had the rib, but
But
sorry,
it could go the opposite way too.
Of course, but I'm just judging it on the performance, not on the fans and the vote.
Anna.
As much as I hate to see that, I do feel that it might be Danica.
Okay, I'm going to actually agree and say Danica, and I'm also going off of Dancing with the Stars Facebook page, which has been very accurate as to who's going home. And Danica and Candace are kind of at the bottom, but I think Candace's performance this week is going to save her another week.
I don't want to do this. This is sad.
We have to do it every week.
Every
Do you
week.
need a minute?
It's terrible, but
Sorry,
we
we'll
have
go.
to do
We
it.
just
go.
have a moment of silence.
Moment of silence for Danica.
I think I think Danica, Candace, James, could be anybody.
They could all be in jeopardy.
They could be
Meryl,
Jeopardy.
Charlie. Who else?
Chelsea, pick one. We have to.
Pick one.
I think between Candace or Danica. Okay.
I would say because of the injuries, Danica, potentially Amy if she can't do anything because of her rib, but I don't think she's in jeopardy.
But I think she'll be able to do something.
I don't think Amy will let it happen.
No. James, I think between James and Danica, and if I had to pick one,
You would get rid of another male?
why?
There's
It doesn't
barely any
matter. Male,
left.
female,
There's
it
barely
doesn't
any
matter
left.
to me.
There would be only one
Charlie.
celeb male,
So
Charlie.
what? I don't think that matters. Yeah,
Just say James for fun.
James.
Okay.
For fun.
James
Yeah.
for fun.
Throwing in a wild card in there.
Woo! All right, you guys. Well, Chelsea, I want to thank you so much. I'm so glad we got you after 4 seasons of working so hard. The fans every day I get like 6 tweets like, "Is Chelsea coming in? Is Chelsea coming in?" All season
4
long.
seasons,
So,
we've had
thank
that.
you. We sure appreciate it. Yes.
Chels.
Well, thanks,
Thanks,
guys, for wanting me on. Thanks for bringing me on.
And
It's
where
been
can everyone
great.
find you? Twitter, Facebook, all the good stuff.
Find me on Twitter at Chelsie Hightower. Take out the R in the tower. It looks like I can't spell. Oh no, take out the E. Sorry. Looks like I can't spell, but you just can have only 15 characters. So
How dare they?
I had to take one off. And then I'm on Instagram and
Follow you there.
Facebook.
Excellent.
Find me.
And you're doing a bunch of Ballroom with the Twist dates, yes?
I'm doing a couple of those. Yeah.
So people can look for those dates as well.
Yep.
Sorry.
At Suri Serano. Serano.
Jules.
Do you want my home address or just
Yes, your home address, please.
my home address? At Julz, Julz Tocker, Tocker. Everything.
Please stay where people
On
can find you
Trebunskaya.
and stalk you. And
At Trebunskaya on Twitter, Trebunskaya on Instagram, Trebunskaya on Facebook, and website.
Whew, and I'm at Kristyn Burtt. I will not be here next week. I'm going to try and join by phone.
my
I know
God.
in Houston. For sure, Sasha Farber is in. Can we announce the other guest? Maybe?
Yeah. And almost 100% certain.
Shirley Ballas.
Yes.
Yes.
And
all
I
right.
think our show starts an hour later.
It's going to be an
so-
hour later at 6 p.m.
Yeah,
Pacific
6 p.m.
time, at 9 p.m. Eastern time for next week only. So Shirley Ballas, Sasha Farber, come back and join us Dancing with the Stars here at AfterBuzz TV. Thanks, guys.
thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions. Producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.